In the vast, cold expanse of space, Dr. Hana Kim sat quietly in her research vessel, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. The ship hummed with a soft, steady rhythm, cutting through the darkness like a silent predator. She was alone, but not lonely. Her mission was her companion. The vessel's sensors picked up an anomaly. Something was approaching, something that didn't match any known signature in her extensive database. Hana leaned forward, her dark eyes narrowing with professional curiosity. Years of xenobiological research had taught her that the universe was full of surprises. A massive shadow began to materialize on her screen. It was massive, at least 5 times the size of her research craft. The ship's defensive systems automatically began calculating potential threat scenarios. Hana remained calm, her breathing steady, her mind racing through possible encounters. Suddenly, a brilliant burst of electromagnetic energy erupted around her vessel. Lights flickered, electrical systems began to fail, one by one. This was no ordinary encounter. This was a targeted disable sequence, something far more sophisticated than a random space incident. Hana's hands moved quickly, attempting to override the system shutdown, but whatever was attacking her ship was far more advanced than anything she had encountered before. Within moments, her primary and backup systems went dark. The ship was now a floating tomb in the infinite blackness of space. Through the reinforced windows, she saw them approach. Not one species, but a coordination of 3 distinct alien forms. They moved with practiced precision, their mechanical suits gleaming under distant starlight. These were not explorers. These were hunters. A sharp metallic sound echoed through the ship's hull. They were boarding. Hana took a deep breath and activated her last line of defense, a small communication implant hidden beneath her skin. No one would know its transmission, but someone would receive her encoded message. The boarding team entered. Their exoskeletons were intricate, with multiple sensory appendages and neural interface ports. They moved as a single organism, each motion calculated and synchronized. Their leader, a towering figure with iridescent skin, approached Hana's position. Human researcher, the lead alien spoke, its translation device rendering words in perfect, emotionless English. You have entered restricted space. Prepare for comprehensive interrogation. Hana remained seated, her posture straight but not rigid. Years of scientific training had taught her that showing fear was the first sign of weakness. She knew they were studying her reaction, measuring her physiological responses. I'm on a scientific expedition, she responded, her voice clear and controlled. My credentials are filed with the Interstellar Research Commission. I have full clearance for this sector. The aliens exchanged a series of rapid clicks and electronic pulses, their method of silent communication. They didn't believe her. To them, humans were an unpredictable species, barely understood, potentially dangerous. As they began to move towards her, Hana noticed something interesting. Despite their advanced technology, they moved with a hint of caution. They were afraid, not of her physical capabilities, but of something deeper, something fundamental about human nature that their sophisticated systems couldn't fully comprehend. The ship's internal temperature began to drop. Restraint mechanisms emerged from the floor, designed to immobilize her. But Hana knew something they didn't. Her simple presence was about to become their biggest miscalculation. One of the aliens stepped forward, its neural probes extended. They intended to extract information directly from her mind. What they didn't realize was that Hana Kim was not an ordinary human researcher. She was about to show them exactly why humans were feared across the galaxy. The alien interrogation chamber was a cold, sterile environment designed to break any living being's spirit. Smooth metallic walls reflected harsh white light, creating an atmosphere of total isolation. Hana found herself strapped to a neural interface chair, her movements deliberately restricted. The lead interrogator, a creature named Korik, studied her with multiple sensory organs. His species had successfully extracted information from 247 different galactic civilizations. Humans would be no different, he believed. Korich initiated the first phase of psychological breakdown. Advanced neural probes extended from the chamber walls, each designed to penetrate mental barriers and expose hidden memories. These tools had never failed before. They would not fail now. The first probe touched Hana's temple. Instead of pain or fear, she felt a strange calm. Her medical training and psychological conditioning kicked in. She began analyzing the probe's technological structure, her mind treating the invasion like a complex scientific problem. Korich noticed something unusual. Most subjects would scream, resist, or show immediate signs of mental distress. Hana remained composed, her breathing steady, her eyes showing calculated observation rather than fear. Interesting subject, Korich muttered through the translation device. His team began increasing neural pressure, hoping to trigger a psychological response. Hana's mind became a fortress. Every invasion attempt was met with systematic resistance. She compartmentalized her thoughts, creating mental barriers that confused the alien technology. What should have been a simple extraction turned into a complex chess match. The interrogation team increased their technological assault. They introduced chemical compounds designed to lower mental resistance. These substances had broken every known species in the galaxy. Humans, they believed, would be no different. But Hana's body processed the chemicals differently. Her enhanced medical implants, designed for extreme research conditions, neutralized the alien compounds within minutes. She even began analyzing their chemical structure, her scientific mind never stopping its relentless curiosity. Korich felt something he had never experienced before: frustration. His team's most advanced technologies were failing against this single human researcher. Her mental resilience was unlike anything they had encountered. Hours passed. The interrogation became a battle of wills. Each probe, each chemical, each psychological technique failed to break Hana's mental defenses. She remained calm, occasionally even showing a hint of amusement at their attempts. The alien team began to realize they were dealing with something fundamentally different. Humans were not just another species to be understood or controlled. They were an anomaly in the galactic ecosystem. Hana's mind worked continuously. She observed their technologies, mapped their psychological approaches, and stored every piece of information. What they saw as an interrogation, she saw as a research opportunity. Korich made a critical mistake. He underestimated human adaptability. Each failed attempt only made Hana more dangerous. She was learning their systems, understanding their weaknesses, preparing her own counter-strategy. The chamber's temperature dropped. Technological pressures increased. But Hana Kim remained unbroken. Her mind was a complex network of resistance, her spirit an unbreakable shield. Something was changing in the interrogation chamber. The hunters were slowly becoming the hunted. They just didn't realize it yet. As another neural probe approached, Hana allowed herself a slight smile. The real game was just beginning, and she was far from defeated. The aliens continued their assault, unaware that with each passing moment, they were teaching Hana exactly what she needed to know. Their advanced technologies, their sophisticated interrogation techniques, were becoming her greatest weapon. Korich looked at his team, sensing something was wrong. The human was not breaking. She was studying, she was learning. And in this cosmic game of psychological warfare, knowledge was the most powerful weapon of all. The interrogation continued, but the balance of power was shifting, slowly but inevitably, in Hana's favor. The interrogation entered its third cycle. Hana had transformed the chamber from a place of potential torture into her personal research environment. Each alien technique became a puzzle she methodically decoded. Korich watched in growing disbelief. His team's psychological warfare strategies were falling apart. Humans were supposed to be primitive, emotional creatures. This human was anything but predictable. She began speaking, not in fear, but with clinical precision. "Your neural interface uses quantum entanglement principles," she observed, analyzing the technology around her. "Interesting design, but with significant computational limitations. The aliens exchanged confused signals. No captured subject had ever analyzed their own interrogation equipment. Hana was breaking their fundamental understanding of psychological control. Her mind worked like a complex computer. Every probe, every chemical introduction, every psychological pressure became data. She wasn't just resisting. She was learning their entire technological ecosystem. Korik realized something terrifying. They were no longer interrogating her. She was now interrogating them. Small behavioral changes started emerging. The alien team became increasingly nervous. Their perfect technological system was being systematically dismantled by a single human researcher. Hana understood something fundamental about psychological warfare. Information was power. And she was collecting information faster than they could process it. She noticed micro-vibrations in their communication systems. Tiny electromagnetic fluctuations revealed more than they intended. Their confidence was cracking. Their technological superiority was an illusion. Your communication protocols have a 0.03-second transmission delay, she casually mentioned. That's a significant vulnerability in high-stress environments. The aliens went silent. How could she know that? Their most advanced encryption systems should have been unreadable. Korik felt something unprecedented. Fear, not physical fear, but the terror of encountering an intelligence that didn't follow expected patterns. Humans were supposed to be predictable. This human was anything but. Her psychological resistance wasn't just about endurance. It was active, dynamic, constantly evolving. Each moment of the interrogation became a learning opportunity. The chamber's complex systems began showing unexpected glitches. Hana's mere presence was destabilizing their technological environment. She wasn't fighting their system. She was fundamentally changing it. Hours passed. The aliens' confidence transformed into confusion. Their prisoner was becoming their greatest threat. Every attempted psychological technique was being cataloged, analyzed, and potentially neutralized. Korik made a critical decision. They needed to escalate, but every escalation provided Hana with more information. She was turning their weapon into her research platform. Her mind worked like a complex algorithm. Predictive, adaptive, constantly recalculating. The interrogation had become a sophisticated dance of psychological chess. The aliens didn't realize a fundamental truth. By trying to break her, they were teaching her everything about themselves. Each probe, each chemical introduction, each psychological pressure became a detailed lesson. Hana's background in xenobiology gave her an unprecedented advantage. She understood complex biological systems better than her interrogators understood themselves. Subtle changes began occurring. The interrogation chamber's environmental controls started responding differently. Technology designed to control was now being subtly manipulated. Korik watched in growing horror. Their perfect system was falling apart. Not through direct confrontation, but through a slow, methodical deconstruction. The human wasn't just resisting. She was transforming the entire interrogation environment into her personal laboratory. As another technological probe approached, Hana allowed herself a slight, knowing smile. The real experiment was just beginning, and she was definitely in control. The aliens continued their assault, unaware that with each passing moment, they were providing her with exactly what she wanted: complete understanding of their technological and psychological ecosystem. Psychological warfare had a new master, and her name was Hana Kim. The quantum communication device hidden beneath Hana's skin began its silent transmission. Microscopic quantum entanglement particles carried an encoded message through the fabric of space, undetectable by the aliens' most advanced scanning technologies. Her message was simple but precise. Coordinates, technological specifications, and a unique identifier that would trigger a specialized human rescue protocol. Each pulse was carefully timed, using her own heartbeat as a natural encryption rhythm. The aliens remained oblivious. Their technological arrogance became their greatest weakness. They believed they had complete control, never realizing that Hana was systematically dismantling their systems from within. Her medical implants began releasing a carefully calibrated series of biochemical responses. To the aliens, it looked like a standard stress reaction. In reality, she was preparing her body for potential extraction. Korik continued monitoring her, believing they were still in complete control. Each alien team member remained focused on breaking her psychological barriers, unaware that the true battle was happening on a quantum level they couldn't comprehend. Thousands of light years away, a specialized human extraction team received the encoded message. They were no ordinary rescue squad. These were adaptability specialists, trained to handle extreme interstellar rescue scenarios. The team's leader, a veteran named David Park, began preparing their stealth vessel. Their technologies were unlike anything in known galactic records. Developed in secret research facilities, these systems could manipulate quantum fields in ways most civilizations couldn't imagine. Hana continued her mental resistance, now actively, sending subtle signals that would guide the extraction team. Her training allowed her to communicate complex information through microscopic physiological changes. The alien detention facility remained confident in its impenetrable defenses. Multiple energy shields, quantum disruption fields, and advanced tracking systems surrounded the entire complex. They believed no external force could penetrate their technological fortress. They were wrong. The human extraction team approached using quantum camouflage techniques. Their vessel didn't just become invisible, it became a mathematical probability that could shift between existing and non-existing states. Hana's body began showing subtle changes. Her metabolism adjusted, her neurological responses became more calculated. She was preparing for extraction, turning her entire biological system into a living communication device. The first signs of intrusion happened microseconds before the aliens could detect anything. Quantum entanglement fields began destabilizing their primary defense systems. It wasn't an attack, it was a fundamental recalibration of physical laws. Korik suddenly felt something was wrong. The interrogation chamber's environmental controls began showing unexplained fluctuations. His team's most advanced scanning systems started producing incomprehensible data streams. The human rescue team was unlike any military force in galactic history. They didn't believe in traditional warfare. Their approach was about adaptive intelligence, turning technological systems against themselves. Hana's quantum communication device pulsed faster. She was now actively guiding the extraction team, her body becoming a living navigation system. Years of specialized training had prepared her for this exact moment. The detention facility's energy shields began experiencing microscopic failures, not through direct force, but through complex quantum manipulation that rewrote the fundamental rules of their technological systems. Outside, the human stealth vessel began its approach. It didn't move through space so much as it existed simultaneously, in multiple potential locations, making traditional tracking impossible. Korik and his team realized too late that they were dealing with something beyond their comprehension. Humans were not just another species to be controlled. They were a force of adaptive intelligence that could fundamentally change the rules of engagement. The extraction was about to begin, and the aliens were completely unprepared. Hana allowed herself a subtle smile. The real counterattack was just beginning. The detention facility erupted in chaos. Human extraction technologies were nothing like traditional warfare. They didn't destroy systems. They fundamentally rewrote their operational parameters. Digital networks collapsed. Quantum shields dissolved like morning mist. The alien technological infrastructure once considered impenetrable became a fragile network of interconnected failures. Hana moved with calculated precision. Her body, enhanced through years of specialized training, transformed from a prisoner into a living weapon. Each movement was deliberate, each breath a strategic calculation. The human rescue team entered like ghosts. They weren't soldiers in the traditional sense. They were adaptive intelligence specialists who understood that true power came from understanding and manipulating complex systems. Alien security protocols crumbled. Their most advanced defensive mechanisms became useless against technologies that didn't follow conventional physical laws. The humans weren't fighting. They were systematically restructuring reality itself. David Park, the extraction team leader, moved through the facility like a digital phantom. His team communicated through quantum entanglement, their thoughts moving faster than any traditional communication system could process. 17 minutes. That was all it took to completely neutralize a facility that had dominated galactic interrogation techniques for centuries. Hana's rescue wasn't just a physical extraction, it was a comprehensive demonstration of human adaptive capabilities. Each movement, each technological interaction, became a message to the broader galactic community. The Confederation's leadership watched in horror. Their most secure facility was being dismantled not through force, but through intelligent technological reconstruction. Humans were revealing themselves as something entirely unexpected. Quantum communication channels began broadcasting the entire operation, not as a traditional transmission, but as a complex mathematical equation that could be interpreted across multiple technological platforms. Korich, the lead interrogator, realized the true horror of their mistake. They hadn't captured a human researcher. They had provided her with the most comprehensive research opportunity of her career. Survival statistics began flooding galactic communication networks. 73% of the detention facility's personnel were now technically non-operational. Human casualties remained at zero. The imbalance was shocking. The rescue wasn't just about saving Hana. It was a calculated demonstration of human potential. Every alien civilization would study this moment for generations. Technological systems continued breaking down, not through destruction, but through fundamental reprogramming. The humans were teaching a brutal lesson about adaptability. Hana emerged from the facility changed. Her experience wasn't trauma, it was research. She had transformed an attempted interrogation into the most comprehensive study of alien technological systems in galactic history. The broader implications were clear. Humans were not just another species to be categorized or controlled. They were an evolutionary wildcard that could fundamentally reshape existing technological understanding. Galactic communication channels exploded with analysis. Research teams, diplomatic networks, and technological institutes began analyzing every microsecond of the extraction operation. David Park's team disappeared as quickly as they arrived. No traditional tracking systems could follow their quantum movement. They were more concept than physical presence. Psychological impact reports began circulating. The Confederation's interrogation reputation was permanently damaged. Their technological superiority was now a question mark. Hana's first report would become legendary, not a narrative of survival, but a comprehensive technological analysis that would reshape interspecies understanding. The detention facility remained a silent monument to a critical miscalculation. Humans were not just survivors. They were evolutionary, disruptors who could transform any system they encountered. As quantum dust settled, one thing became absolutely clear. Attempting to torture a human was definitely a big mistake.